Hello and welcome to today's webinar. My name is Amanda Susahai and I'd like to thank you all for joining this presentation and discussion and demo on discovering how you can organize big data in a customer-centric way. Our speaker today is Stephen Knowles, CTO of NGDATA. We're looking forward to an interactive session and encourage you to submit your questions via the chat window at any time during the presentation and demo. Stephen will answer your questions during the Q&A session. We will also follow up via email on any questions that Stephen was unable to respond to during today's session. The webcast is also being recorded and will be available on the NGDATA website shortly. And now I'd like to turn it over to Stephen.
Thank you, Amanda, and good morning, good afternoon, everyone. It's really excited to be able to show in a demonstrative way Lilly 3.0, a brand new version of our customer intelligence product, which we've been working on for the past 18 months. Obviously, before we head into the demonstration, we wanted to provide some context on the importance of customer centricity. So there we go with the introduction of our webinar. As marketing companies who are marketing actively towards their customers, and I hope that any one of you is obviously doing that, are currently aware of, there is an increasing stress on the operational aspects of marketing in the sense that customers experience a lot of marketing efforts and actions that are being made available to them across a variety of channels. However, it is not unsurprisingly so that oftentimes you receive competing offers or conflicting offers from the same company at the same time through different channels. One of the reasons is that while people are monitoring social networks, while people are working on online platforms or using classic channel campaign execution tools, oftentimes these systems might have a different view on the situation of the customer. Situation being anything you could learn about him, about his intents, his preferences, his behavior. And what you see is that with the current setup, very often there is a number of different customer profiles available which are managed for different channels at the same time within any larger organization, which in the end means that due to the fact that marketeers are primarily thinking channel-centric and product-centric, is that they send off a variety of offers, which sometimes might, but oftentimes might not be of interest for a customer, and all in all feel, well, create a feeling with the customer that he's being spammed with a lot of messaging, which is not necessarily related to what is really of interest of him. One of the other challenges in this context is also that digital companies have a lot of access to customer behavior data. They are able to monitor click streams. They are able to deep dive into payment transactions and so on. But with a lot of these classical marketing execution tools, campaign management tools, it can be hard or simply impossible to process that volume of data into a meaningful message to their customers. So what we see is that even though the customer is getting a lot of messaging, sometimes ultimately that's doing more damage than it is doing actually good. And this happens across industries, both in media companies, banking, as well as in telco companies. And obviously, I think one of the main challenges that these industries have is due to the nature of what they do and the kind of services that they offer, they are looking to have a long, fruitful relationship with the customer, and they want to make sure that both onboarding a new customer, managing the relationship for as long as possible, as well as preventing churn, happens in an efficient way. Needless to say, if you're sending out a lot of marketing messages, that is costing you money, and you want to make sure that you target the right customers with the right message at the right time. And It's quite obvious that we're being spoiled there. I think the archetypal example there is Google. Tools like Google Now, which allow you to really, which allows Google, but not you, to basically create a very specific, up-to-date, contextualized picture of the customer, which is composed of a variety of we could call them metrics, and that's basically what we manage inside Lilly as well. Metrics which continuously monitor a variety of scores, a variety of key indicators of customer behavior, and which paint a centralized and always up-to-date picture of that customer. So imagine the situation where you're able to maintain such a single view of the customer, collecting data from all sources that are available to you, having that up to date on a continuous basis, and being composed of both information coming from behavioral data points, information about the context of the customer, where he is, what time of the day it is, and being able to calculate that into a real-time updated set of preferences, interests, and affinities of the customer. That's ultimately the kind of data that, for instance, companies like Google and Facebook are managing within their huge databases. And for, let's say, classic companies, the less digital industries, it's been a challenge so far to have a similar picture. The point of that profile being there and always having it up to date is that we are changing, and it's not a slow change anymore. I think the change is already there. It's just that we're not all realizing it at this point. But the customer expects and demands basically us companies to think in a customer-centric way, which means that we are not longer taking the initiative to communicate with the customer. It's the customer who is expecting to have a fruitful conversation with us as a company at the time that he or she wants, at the location where he or she actually is, always being confronted with relevant messaging, with a relevant next step in the conversation. And basically that's the point of customer centricity, is to stop thinking how can I push messaging, how can I push products into the hands of the customers, but to think actively of, this is the journey that I want to go through with my customer, what are his expectations, how can I meet those expectations over the course of our the lifetime of our relationship, and how can we improve product utilization, how can we deepen the portfolio that, or expand the portfolio of products that the customer wants from us over time, but always in a proactive way, and being ready with that kind of information at the time that the customer chooses to have that conversation with you. Basically, what we're looking for is the kind of system which allows you to really ask questions in a customer-centric way, such as, okay, I have a product here, and it's not so much of how can I send this into my customer database and hopefully get a few customers to acquire that product, but how can I make sure that I bring that maybe expensive offer in the hands of the right customers? What is the top 100 customers who are likely to buy something from me, and when they are likely, what is it that they are actually interested in? And that could be different for each of the different customers, and you want to be ready with that information as soon as they hit your website. If you have an existing relationship with a customer, and there's a few items that he has already from your product portfolio, what are the next products that he might be interested to acquire? What makes sense to him to expand and to complete his product portfolio? Also, in terms of marketing messaging, or coming into touch with your customer, what is the best channel? What is the best time of the day, or weekdays and weekend to approach the customer? yes, we all know these examples of companies who just send a daily email and a weekly newsletter and do a lot of bannering on the websites. But frankly, how long has it been since we reacted onto one of these messagings? But if you get a really relevant message, a really relevant email, personalized at the right time from your bank or from your favorite media brand to say, well, we've been looking into what you've been doing, and we assume that this is kind of interesting for us, and we have a nice coupon related to that, that's probably going to be something that you're going to react positively towards. At the end of a relationship, well, first of all, we all try to fight to make sure that the relationship never ends, and that's when you want to make sure that you're not end up reviving an already dead patient. Basically, you want to make sure, if you're a telco company and you're working with paid upfront cards, that you make sure that people don't churn away and that you try to revive the relationship after the point of churn. You want to make sure that you come up with a meaningful offering towards them at the time that they are in risk for churn, when they are considering offers from competitors. And that's the kind of questions for which you need a clear, a very actual, very up-to-date picture of the customer at any time, and you want to have that centrally available for all the processes in your organization. So you can imagine there's a few steps that you need to go through there. First of all, as I mentioned, we have a lot of data at our disposal. We have transactional data, click streams coming from our websites, payment data that is residing in data warehouses or is available in a streaming fashion in our company. We have information about anything related to offers. What is it that I can offer my customers? And what is also basically what you're trying to optimize towards. So what is the best possible offer? So you need data about offers. You might have content which can be personalized for your customers. You can access through mobile applications information about the location of your customer, but also, and very, very important, you have a lot of existing customer data already in your organization. You have an existing and well-maintained CRM system, a customer database, but you might have a few, and that's a problem. One of the usual situations that we end up working with our media customers is that they grow through acquiring their competitors or through acquiring companies. That means that a normally sized media group oftentimes has 7, 8 different CRM systems inside their organization, and they all manage data, and some of that data is actually about the same customers. So how can you get to that data in an efficient way without having to re-engineer all your data management processes in your company? How can we learn on that data, and how can we work with that? On the aspect of learning, as we all know, data scientism is currently a very popular profession. If you want to raise your kids for having a good job, you have to make sure to send them to the data scientism university. But the problem is that, well, data scientism has always existed, and under the form of people who were doing deep dive business intelligence, who were coming up with great insights in what was happening. However, the problem was that sometimes that insight was available when it was too late. It makes no sense in recommending people to buy an umbrella if it stopped raining an hour ago. You want to make sure that you are ready with your analysis in an actionable way at the moment that it counts, and that's basically means that you want to operate a decision. You want to operate decisions based on real-time data ingestion. The last part is the engagement part, executing on the available data, and you want to make sure that you're not standing there sending out campaigns on a weekly basis. You want to make sure that you're ready with the data when the customer hits you. So that means that you need that profile continuously maintained and always available in your organization. And that's basically the three phases and the offering of Lilly in a nutshell. Lilly Enterprise allows you to listen into all sorts of customer-related data, interaction data, as well as customer facts, which are available in your organization and outside. Allows you to learn in a iterative, real-time way what is the customer's DNA, and that's basically what we use as a term inside the organization as part of the Lilly offering as well. It allows you to learn all the key metrics and to maintain all the key metrics that you want to know about each individual customer, and to act on that in a flexible way, allowing you to target the right customer at the right time based on micro-segmentation, careful dynamic selections of interests, customers who are interested in specific offers, and vice versa. So that's basically the key messaging around Lilly, allowing you, supporting you in becoming customer-centric by providing an environment, an application which is installed inside your organization, and which allows you basically to learn and build interactive customer profiles in real time and to manage them over time, so that you can learn from past behavior as well. Now, we want to touch a bit deeper into the subject of customer DNA because it is so important and vital to the product's functioning. So basically what it is a collection of predefined metrics which really describe your customers in a marketing actionable way. There is information on how frequent they visit your website, what sections of the websites, but also information on the value that they contribute, the amount of products that they have, how much, how often they use your products, information obviously as well on social demographic data. All of that information is available, and the point of customer DNA is that the calculations to get to these metrics, which are key insights on a customer individual levels, all of these are pre-configured in Lilly. So Lilly is being brought to into your organization. It's being connected with the existing data sources, and it can start calculating those customer DNA metrics automatically based on these pre-configured calculations. DNA is organized per customer, so each customer which can be identified, which can be before he really gets a name or an email address, so we also track and build DNA of anonymous visitors of your website, but we are keeping a view on that customer and versioning that over time, organizing it per each individual customer. Lilly DNA is computed out of all of the customer-related data that is available in your organization, and we see two big distinctive types of data. There is information which is closely tied to behavior, interactions, transactions, click streams, that kind of information. And then you also have existing systems which manage already data about your customer in a customer-centric way, which we call fact-based information. Both types of data can be contributed to Lilly, but can be brought into Lilly and will support the calculation of and the creation of customer DNA. The calculations, the list of customer DNA, literally we have 1,000 of them pre-configured in the system, and all of the calculations to get to these key metrics are also pre-configured. That means that you can start small. You can start with one or two sources, connecting just your online website to Lilly, start harvesting profiles from there, and then later on add a CRM source, add a source on payment transaction or call center interactions. So you can gradually add more sources to Lilly, but you don't have to redo or reintegrate and rebuild all of the DNA. It is growing richer with the amount of data that is brought into Lilly in a very gradual, organic way. The point is that with the team of people that we have at NGDATA, we were able to really pinpoint and to define those key metrics which are most commonly used to drive marketing actions, to select the relevant people that for offering a certain product to, and so on and so forth. So that is basically our definition of customer DNA. As I mentioned, that customer DNA is based on interaction and factual data. We'll get to that in a bit when I'm showing you some of the functionality of Lilly in a live way. But as you can imagine, a single click on a website can mean a multitude of things. It could be, it helps to keep track of, okay, this is the amount of web visits that this person has made to our website on a weekly basis, on a monthly basis. But if you are able to find out what that click was about, what section on the website he was visiting, then you can also keep track of that, make sure that you keep track of a certain interest that he has in the matter that that website, that web page was about. It will also contribute to a metric on the amount of time that he was engaged with you as a company. And basically we have a thousand of these metrics predefined in Lilly, and the point is that they are being maintained and kept up to date all the time. You don't have to worry about that. It's just a matter of setting up the connection, piping in the data, and the metrics are calculated automatically. If you look at in very quick overview at some exciting features that are available in Lilly Enterprise. First of all, we obviously have the metrics, as I mentioned already. We provide them in a user interface which has been designed to empower both the marketeer as well as the data analyst or data scientist, but to make sure that everybody has to is able to find some unique information and some unique functionality inside the same product. We allow marketeers to make their own private selection of metrics that they are key interested in, and to follow up on these in an easy way. But a data scientist can actually make a deep dive into how these metrics came into existence. What is the trend behind some key metrics, and well, some other functionality that we get to later on. We allow you with Lilly not only to look into a single customer or millions of single customers, we also allow you to organize these customers into sets, which are dynamic segments, selections of groups of customers that you are interested in, and you can actually compare sets with each other, or you can compare a customer with a set. So here, for instance, we're looking into Joe, and Joe makes part of a set. The yellow lines are basically the averages of the same metric which are available on the set level, so that we quickly can see how good a Joe fits with the set that we are comparing him with. Other key functionalities is the ability to really translate and do a business interpretation of those interactions, the raw technical data, and make a business sense out of that. We allow you to make use of these behavior, these clicks, and the observed interactions to automatically calculate product and product category level preferences for each individual customer, so that basically inside Lilly we maintain for each of the customers that have been identified, could be millions of them, for each of the hundreds of thousands of products that are available in your product catalog, for each customer you can ask for each product, what is his propensity, what is the preference score that he has for each of one of these products. So building up a recommendation out of that, personalizing a website content out of that is just a matter of looking for the top 10 preferences he has and making sure that you provide that in a personalized way to him on the preferred interaction channel. As I mentioned, we also provide you with the ability to configure your own sets so that you basically don't have to look into individual customers, but you can track groups over longer periods of time, which is what is done in a classic marketing fashion, and allows you to do some analysis on what are my different clusters of users, segments of users, or customer profiles that I have, and how do they evolve over time. With metrics and sets, but most specifically with metrics, we allow you to configure alerts. These alerts allow you to act on real-time changes in the customer's metrics. Could be based on behavior. Somebody who is suddenly increasing or lowering actually the level of interactivity with you as a company. He's visiting your website less, but it could also be because a churn score is being continuously calculated and at some point hits a certain threshold. You can be alerted of that. So these are the customers which are in despair, and you should actually start to work with them to see if you can resolve the situation and work towards a more fruitful relationship. Lastly, we allow you to set up predictive models in Lilly, which support the calculation of scores towards propensity for churn, but obviously also for the positive side, qualifying customers, acquiring new customers, segmenting new customers, and making sure that you have a good view on that. Now, this technology has been out there already by some analytical some companies providing analytical software. Problem there is never operates on the whole data set and never operates in real time. With Lilly, you're able to compute any number of key score based on a predictive model to calculate that in real time based on any number of incoming new interactions. So with that, setting the scene, we get into the demo bit of the presentation. What we see here is the user interface we have built for both marketeers and data scientists. So you get a personalized homepage allowing you basically to quickly refer back to the sets, the groups of people or profiles that you've been working for, the alerts which have been set up, the models that you have been exploring or been configuring into the system. But as we mentioned already, Lilly is a customer-centric application. So let's first hit into a individual customer profile. So what we see here is the DNA profile of Joe, but first let us look at where this information comes from. We have been following Joe across all of the available channels in the organization, and we've been collecting interactions, different types of interactions across all the available channels. So we have the mobile channel that we're listening into, the web channel that we're listening into. We got IVR from a help desk or a service desk application. We actually even have mail interactions that we outbound marketing actions that are being logged as interactions into Lilly, as well as text messages. The number of channels is unlimited. We have predefined interaction types for a lot of the default channels that you're typically using to engage with your customer or through which the customer engages with you. Obviously, what is available on these channels in terms of logging or interaction data is often very technical. So what we're trying to do with Lilly there is to make sure that you can make a business sense out of this. This was, in the beginning, just a simple click in a clickstream. So you could say it's a timestamp, it's a URL, it's maybe a cookie ID, but well, that's not very helpful for a marketeer. So we translate that into a language, into a level of organization that is actually helpful for him. Imagine sitting at a service desk, somebody calls in a customer who's in distress, he's not happy, and you're able to just quickly look into what were his latest interactions with us as a company. Has he been visiting the website? Did he get 10 different marketing emails in a row and never opened one of them? Had he registered or filed a complaint either by phone or through email or whatever? All of that information is organized on a per customer level and is available for anyone with the right authorization to access. So here we see that simple click being translated into a visit, which is related to the sports section on our website, subsection football, with the World Cup in mind, but also technical information such as timestamp being translated in what makes sense to a marketeer. We're not so much interested in the exact timestamp, the exact point in time where somebody visited our website. We want to know, was it in the afternoon? Was it in the evening? Was it in the morning? What is the usual pattern that we see there? So all of that information is available, is being augmented to make sense in a business fashion, and you can quickly select the kind of interactions that you actually want to look into. Now we're not just logging these interactions for the sake of it. We use these to build metrics. So metrics are oftentimes aggregations, calculations and counts based on the attributes of these interactions, and these are available as metrics on the customer DNA. You can make a selection of all of the available metrics to show them on the circle view that we have here, which allows it to quickly pull up a number of different segments, a number of different metrics, and to take a look at them, not just at the individual metrics, but also how a customer, in this case Joe, compares with a certain set that you've configured in Lilly, in this case the high potential new customers set. So what we see here from Joe is a number of different things. We see that, for instance, his loyalty is quite okay. It's a bit lower than what is the average for people that also reside in his set. And the thing which should be worrying us is that his loyalty there's a negative trend there, and it's an accelerating trend. So all of that information is available because Lilly is tracking these metrics, calculating the metrics, and tracking them over time. Obviously, we have a variety of different metrics which are available. This is just a sample here on level of interest in sports, business and economics news, the number of ads that he has been actually clicking on. All of that information can be calculated into metrics when the data is provided to Lilly. The calculation of trends and acceleration of metrics is not possible if we don't track the metrics over time, and that's what we're highlighting here. Basically, is that you can also see how each specific metric has been evolving over time, and how that evolution compares with the evolution of a larger group of people which are configured in a set. Speaking of which, let's first head into a view on what these sets actually are. So a set looks, first sight, it looks very similar to a customer DNA, but obviously here it's going to show you not the DNA of one customer, but the average metric for each of the customers that make part of a set. That means that a set is composed of a number of has members which are listed here, and basically configuring a set is actually something which is pretty easy, and which allows it is allowed to be done by any end user of the system. So when he dives into Lilly, he's able to set up his own sets. He can explore pre-configured company level sets with the necessary governance around that, so that not everyone is building company level sets. The same kind of interactivity is available for configuring metrics. But first, let's take a look at how you configure sets. So setting up a set is just a matter of selecting the kind of metrics, as you might have guessed already, that are used to define the set. So in this case, we have a set which is consists of all the engaged customers, and that set is being built up of all customers which have a metric time spent per day which is greater or equals than an hour per day. They have more than 0 ads consumed, and they have a response rate towards marketing actions which is larger than or equals to 50%. So you can add any other conditions here. And basically, the idea is that you're not making a list of users you want to work with, a list of customers that your customer profiles that you want to expose to a marketing execution email campaign system. Is not something for which you need a data engineer or a data warehouse guy. It is basically been designed so that a marketer is able to set up these sets on its own. Speaking of those metrics, as we mentioned, there's a lot of different metrics available in Lilly by default. This is just like a small demo sample of it. But what we allow you also is to make sure that you can create, you can add additional metrics, but to do that in a organized way. So if you come up with any kind of metric that you want to track on a customer-specific level, that can be configured in Lilly, but we just make sure that people, if they use that, for instance, for reporting purposes, they do understand what are the official metrics and the ones which have been configured or set up by a single user of the system. All of this is also managed, obviously, through access control and roles, so that nobody can actually mess up with the works of others, or without the right level of authorization, add any sets or metrics if configured so. On the functionality of the application, as I mentioned, we allow you to deploy predictive models in Lilly. So predictive models basically allow you, based on a number of different metrics, to predict a certain score for a user. Let's take a look into one of these. We have a customer churn model which is being configured here. So a customer churn model, the kind of model which is going to a score that is going to predict what the likeliness that the customer is going to run away from you. And as you see, we allow you to configure that using a variety of known methods. The predictive models based on regression, random forest, and decision trees are available within the system. Or you can come up with your own formulas which contain a model. Also, what is available is the ability to upload models using PMML into Lilly, so that they are automatically operated in Lilly. The big distinction here between existing analytical or predictive modeling tools is that oftentimes they just work on a sample of the customers, a selection of the customers to train the model, as well as they allow you only to recalculate the score on a daily, weekly, monthly basis. With Lilly, executing a model is the same as calculating a metric, so you can keep the metric scores always up to date all the time, so that you basically can use a predictive model-based score just as if it is a normal metric. Also, what you see here is that we can configure, set up a model differently related to the set that we are working with. It is very logical, so that you might have a certain predictive model which is set up differently, for instance, between males and females and that kind of stuff. So you can also set it up in that way in Lilly as well. At the end, what Lilly also has, and for that we need to quickly go back to Joe's Joe's DNA, allows you to combine both interaction behavior, which we've just seen, and all the DNA metrics, and use that as a basis for machine learning. One of the things that we learn here on the basis of Joe is his actual preferences for all of the available products that we have. In this case, it's a media company that we're looking at, so it's going to be about news or media categories and subcategories, allowing you also to focus not only on the individual products, but to take a look into the scores on the category level. Why are we doing that? Well, products, this is based on behavior of people. Now, obviously, if you introduce a new product into the market, the problem is that you have no registered behavior around it, so it's going to be difficult to predict what preference somebody might have. So then you just can make use of the categorical preferences to make sure that you bring that new product which sits in a certain category towards the right user. So with that quick overview of the user level functionality of the product, well, I'll get back to the presentation. As Amanda mentioned in the beginning of the webinar, if you have any specific questions, please step forward through the chat box in the application. Heading back into the kind of value that we provide here. First of all, Lilly focuses really on making sure that you can get up and running as fast as possible, so that within a couple of weeks we can connect Lilly to a number of data sources and get customer DNA out of that, allowing you to become actionable with your customer data. We have the functions that we mentioned already, the ability to build metrics yourself without a data engineer or a developer around, just filling in the formulas yourself into Lilly, and it has been designed to integrate closely with your existing systems. And also of key importance is the fact that you don't need to set up all of the data sources integrations up front. You can gradually add additional sources over time, and the DNA will just get smarter. Very quickly on the different layers of the product, so we have a listen and a learn and an execute phase, where obviously here we are listening into the data, collecting it into a big data repository, managing the interactions and the augmentation of the interactions on the listen layer. Then using the calculation engine, we compute all these interactions and factual data which has been added to Lilly into customer DNA, and learn on top of that to produce a list of always up-to-date customer preferences. That information is available both through a number of APIs, REST, Java, but also a JDBC driver, so SQL connectivity into that Lilly DNA, and can also be used for targeting offers at customers. And then you obviously need to integrate with product catalogs and offer catalogs for which the catalog manager is used. In terms of technology foundations, Lilly is a big data system. I think we are one of the few business applications which has been developed to be immediately useful and which serves some immediate functionality within your organization. So the ability to connect to sources, compute DNA out of that, and drive recommendations or personalize a website is not something that you will program or develop. That is functionality which is within reach for an end user when using Lilly. Now, obviously, we do work on lots of data, and for that we use a collection of Hadoop ecosystem components, which run on a variety of Hadoop distributions out there, so that basically your existing investment into these Hadoop big data setups that you might already have in your company can, in some cases, finally being put to use by installing Lilly on top of that. Nothing out of the ordinary there. We bring the interaction data into Hadoop, and we manage the customer DNA into HBase and allow you to connect to that using a variety of open APIs. So if you put Lilly in a bigger context, what kind of data sources are being used to connect Lilly to? We have customer data, contract data about customers, product information, campaign information. All of that is being brought into Lilly. It can be augmented with external reference data, which is available from companies like for instance, Bisnote here in Europe, or Experience, or you can add acquired data into it as well to further enrich the information that you have about your customers. Lilly is ready for integration any way you want, depending on the availability of the data from the source system. So we allow you to batch integrate data into Lilly, or to pull it in and bring it in real time, and allow you support a variety of integration options there. When the data sits with Lilly, we listen, we learn, and we execute upon it. That information, which is the DNA, you can explore and get into using your normal reporting or analytics tools, Business Object, Cognos, that kind of information, using the default JDBC connectivity or SQL connectivity. And then obviously we're going to use that data, these actionable metrics, through a variety of different channels. So it can be used to support website personalization. You're driving your online platforms. It can be used within your CRM and call center to have a quick view on what the actual behavior of a customer is when he connects with you and wants to have a conversation. Obviously, you're going to drive your campaign management systems through Lilly by exposing data lists or target lists to these systems, and we allow you also to connect into social data as well. Now, all of these systems are providing feedback data. That feedback data, an email which has been opened, a successful delivery of an email, an ad which has been clicked, a certain page which has been accessed, a landing page, all of that information is made available into Lilly to further learn from the customer's behavior. So it is vitally important for us that Lilly connects well with your enterprise systems and has a number of connectors which are being made available off the shelf. Where do we operate Lilly in? As we mentioned already, subscription-based industries focusing on building a large and long-term relationship with the customers. So that translates into banks, telecom, and media companies. Telecom and media companies often already merging or fusing their offerings together. Now with banks, Lilly can be used to drive personalization of the online channels of the bank, or up to the ATM screens if your ATM is capable. ATM channels are capable of that. It can be used to make sure that you provide good service to your customer by showing that you really know about him and what interests him. And having that data available all the time, or obviously also to fight churn and make sure that you make the right decisions on how risky it is to offer a certain loan to someone based on a long-term view of his payment behavior, credit card usage, and so on. Another use case is a use case which has been tried by a number of banks already, merchant-funded offers. So providing merchant offers to your customers based on their actual transaction or payment behavior, where obviously you can learn a lot about what people are interested in, because that's where they're spending their money at. For telecom companies, we're doing a lot of churn use cases, also use cases around sensitivity and correct pricing for customers. They might be interested in a certain product, but we might have a certain flexibility towards pricing. How can we predict predicting the price range that a customer feels comfortable with? Also make sure that we support micro segmentation and micro campaigns. We have a few customers which have dramatically been increasing the number of campaigns that they are running, but these campaigns are targeting now, instead of hundreds of thousands of people at the same time, they are targeting 10, 100 customers, very specific campaigns which are run very regularly, but which are much more relevant and which are much more targeted towards customers who are actually interested in and might react favorable to these actions. Also, the aspect of personalization is obviously very important. And then for media companies, it is about personalization as well. It is making sure that we deliver as much as possible the largest product portfolio to the customer. So if they have just a newspaper on paper, they might be interested in having a digital version of that, but maybe they want to have a combination. They want to have the digital newspaper access during the week, and they want to have a paper newspaper during the weekend. Predicting that kind of preference, making sure that you make the right offer to the right customer is something that Lilly will be helping you with. Also, we allow you to build a dashboard which shows you the key analytics very much in a way that you might have from other web analytics systems, but rather that you start tracking, building up these analytics, usage analytics, starting from the content, which gives you a good view on how busy your website is and what sections are being used or not. We start building out from the profile, from the individual user, which allows you also to make sure that you see a relationship between behavior of people, for instance, in the week and in the weekend, but really tied to specific groups or segments of customers within your larger organization. So there's a whole lot of different use cases that can be powered by Lilly. One specific one to conclude the webinar a bit is one that we've been working on for quite a lot of time already with a number of customers, which is all about personalizing a website in a non-creepy way. So a lot of banks have currently the ability to personalize search in sections of web pages based on, information about individual profiles. So what will happen here is that the the publication engine of the website will call into Lilly with a number of key context information. So it will tell to Lilly, this is the customer that is on the website. This is what he has been visiting before that, and that kind of session information is being made available, allowing Lilly to really determine the eligibility of offers based on both the preferences that we've learned about this customer over time, as well as his DNA metrics. So Lilly will have the full view of the customer profile. All the usage data will be there. All the existing contract information is there in metric form, so that you can really decide, okay, this is probably the kind of offers that this person might be interested in. And it's ultimately then the web personalization engine or the publication engine, which will use this information and the list of proposed offers by Lilly, optionally also influenced by business rules, of course, to make sure that you have the right content made available to the right user. This all happens in real time. So if somebody has been looking into product pages on a bank website about getting a car loan, then the car loan related content will be following him through the website in the subsequent visits, all happening within the same session, of course. So it's not something that we are restricted to sending out a marketing offer around car loans on a weekly basis, maybe even after the customer lost interest about it, be due to the real-time availability of that information on preferences, we can actually influence and put the right messaging there for influencing the customer while he is actually researching a specific product. So concluding there, I think Lilly obviously being based on big data technology has a few tricks up its sleeve which might be really interesting if you compare it with existing data warehouse or business intelligence systems. First of all, we are able to tap into more data sources, not just the internal data but also online data, allowing you to really process hundreds of terabytes up to petabytes of data and build meaningful profiles, actionable profiles out of that. It allows you to reduce the availability of information you can use to actively target the customer. So that means preferences, that means scores from predictive models. That data will be available not on a daily basis, but actually be always there and can always be used to influence the customer at the right time when he is there on the website and not afterwards. Allowing you basically with the larger access over longer time into behavior of people, allowing you to learn from patterns of behavior and allowing you to really dive into insights which go far beyond insights but actually become foresights so that you can not only analyze and report on what has happened, you will be able to have actionable insights when it is happening, and actually at some point we're going to influence what is happening based on the DNA metrics that are being made available in Lilly. So with that being done, we have a few minutes left for questions. I don't know if there were any questions from the audience.
Yeah, thank you, Stephen. Actually, we do have a couple of questions, and given that we are running a little short on time, I will just open up the floor to 2 or 3. So let's start with the first one. How do you compare to solutions like SaaS?
Okay, that's a good question. So, well, as I mentioned, we first of all, big data. Lilly has been built up as a big data system from the ground up. So it's all running on Hadoop and HBase. That means it works, it operates on all the available data. I'm not going to name names here, but most analytical platforms still have an issue with large volumes of data. Also, many analytical platforms do not work on the real operations data. They work in a corner of the organization. You will use them to build a predictive model. You will use them to do deep dive analytics. And actually, we can connect into that. You can install a model which has been developed in SaaS into Lilly, and then you will have the benefit that it will be the scores of that are in that model will be calculated all the time with Lilly for each individual customer. So there is certain complementarity in the offerings, and obviously the big advantage of Lilly is there the fact that all of the learning and all of the scoring is happening in real time, but based on much more interaction points from the operational channels than what such tools could handle.
Okay. Next question. Can you explain why real time is important?
Well, as I mentioned, the user himself is going to choose when he wants to be available or be present for your actions, for your marketing actions. So at some point he will be on your website. He's not expecting you to send a weekly email. He will be there on the website and he will expect meaningful messaging. Meaningful messaging means that it needs to take into account all of the available data, both historically but also related to what he has been doing 5 minutes before or even 2 minutes before. So making the best personalization is the personalization which is really tied into the context, the location, the time of the customer. And if you want to do that with classical systems, oftentimes you have to build recommendations in batch to personalization by sending out personalized emails in batch. whereas Lilly supports you to do to come up with personalized messaging to a customer in real time, basically allowing the to focus much more on what his current needs and desires are. And we've seen with many projects that ultimately that makes a big difference in accepting offers, or all in all, also having a much more happy relationship between the enterprise and the customer.
Okay, and just one more question, Stephen. I think this will be our last question for today. What is the best way to start the process with Lilly and to get to your customer DNA?
So we insist on Lilly being something which you can grow into. It's easy to install within your big data environment, and then it's a matter of selecting a few key data sources in your company. It could be your online system, for which we provide specific tags or tracker infrastructure. It could be your CRM system. Basically, you're going to start with just a few sources, and with these sources being made available to Lilly through the variety of pre-configured APIs and interfaces, Lilly is going to already start building up DNA straight from the beginning. Over time, you will add more sources, and you might have, you're going to be adding some predictive models to that, so that your DNA gets more intelligent over time. What we see is that Lilly can be put to use over the course of a couple of weeks rather than months, what is currently a common situation for anything which is a single customer view of the project or a data management project. So we suggest to start small, just a few sources, and to try really to work towards a specific score or specific metric that you want to focus on for doing better targeting of customers, or having more real-time up-to-date reporting of what you're doing, and to grow gradually from there.
Okay, great. Thank you, Stephen. Well, that actually concludes today's presentation. I'd like to thank Stephen Knowles from NGDATA, and thank you all for attending. We'll follow up on the questions we weren't able to get to via email. And also, we'd like to invite you to upcoming events, so you can find more information about Lilly Enterprise, including demos or white papers, by visiting us at ngdata.com. Have a great day, and please don't hesitate to contact us if you have any further questions or if you'd like to get some information about customer experience management. Thanks again.